गिरधारी शिशि राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत श्रीमद भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत साई महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत श्रीमद भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यानंद विश्व शुद्ध सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यानंद विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौड़िय गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौरमंडल ब्रजमंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। जय श्री श्री राधा दामोदर जू की जय। श्री ईश्वर दामोदर की जय। श्री दामोदराष्टक की जय। श्री सत्यव्रत मुनि की जय। जय श्री सनातन गोसाई पाद की जय। हिज दिग्दर्शिनी-ṭīkā of Hari Bhakti Vilas की जय। जय श्री गुरुदेव दिग्दर्शिनी-वृत्ति की जय। जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री ऊर्ज व्रत की जय। ऊर्जेश्वरी लासेश्वरी श्री विश्वभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा ठाकुरानी की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि। We'll do a short Mangalacharan. Begin. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। अङ्गश्यामलिमाच्छटाभिरभितो मन्दीकृतेन्दीवरं जाड्यं जागुरुरोचिषं विदधतां पट्टम्बरस्य श्रिय वृन्दारण्यनिवासिनां हृदि लसद्दामाभिरामोदरां राधास्कन्दनिवेशितोज्ज्वलभुजां ध्यायेम दामोदरम्। त्वयैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय देवी त्वं नायमां चरणान्तिकम्। भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वं शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दं। भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा धन्यवाद प्रणाम निरी हरि प्रभु भवतारिणी माता जी नीताई मुकेश जी Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, all devotees watching on YouTube and Facebook. I'm guessing Indira Mataji and Raseshwari Mataji are there, and maybe Rohini Nandan Prabhu, Vidalala Sadidi. If you write a comment, I'll see your name. Also pranams to all the devotees watching in the Haribol Vidalala Sadidi. And also pranams to all the devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Jai Dev Prabhu, Krishna Rose. Oh, sorry, Raseshwari Mataji. I didn't put up the words for the Mangala Charan. I need to prepare that because I said yeah, I've been saying the Radha Damodar Dhyan mantra, whatever you call it. And I need to put that together. um, all right, so we are continuing. Oh, and Hare Krishna, Kartik Prabhu, Haribol. So we are continuing on with our reading of Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. Yesterday we completed reading our Srila Gurudev's Dig-darśinī-vṛtti on the first verse. We read Srila Sanātana Gosvāmī's Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā on the second verse. And today we will read Srila Gurudev's Dig-darśinī-vṛtti on the second verse. So first we'll sing Dāmodarāṣṭakam and then we'll begin. And thank you everybody for being so patient with me. So far, every day during Kārtika, I've been almost like pretty much 10 minutes late every day. And everybody's just been very patient with me. So I'm very grateful for that. Namamishwaram. Oh, okay. I almost sing it on a proper meter. But okay. Anamamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashodabhiyo Lokala Dhavamanam Paramrishtamadhyam Tato Drutya Gopyam rudantaṁ muhur netra-yugmaṁ mṛjantaṁ karāmbhoja-yugmena sātaṅka-netram muhuḥ śvāsa-kampa-tri-rekhāṅka-kaṇṭha sthita-graiva-dāmodaraṁ bhakti-baddham iti drik-svālīlābhir ānanda-kunde svaghoṣam nimajjantam āgyāpayantam tadiyeshita-geshu bhaktarjita-tvam punah prematastam shata-vritti-vande Varam deva moksham na mokshavadin va na chanya brindeham vareshadapiha idam te vapurnata gopala balam sada me manasya virastam kimanya idam te mukham bojam avyakta nilay Vritam kuntalai snigdha raktaishcha gopya muhushumvitam bimba raktatarane manasya virastam alam lakshala labhai Namo Deva Dāmodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukha Jalabdi Magnam Kripa Drishti Vrishtyati Dinam Patanu Grihani Shamam Agyam Edakshidrishai Kuveratmajo Baddha Murtai Vayadvat Tvaya Mochito Bhakti Bhajo Krito Cha Tatha Prema Bhaktin Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Mesti Damodare Namaste Damne Spuradipti Dhamne Tvaδιοδαρayatha Vishwasadhamne Namo Radhikaya Tvadiyapriyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tu Namo Radhikaya Tvadiyapriyaya Namo Radhikāyai Tvadiya Priyāyai Namo Nantal-vilai Devaya Tubhyam Namameshwaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasakundalam Gokule Bhajaman Jai Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jai Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol. Oh, and Hari Bol, Pramila Didi, Hare Krishna. And Champak Mataji, Hari Bol. So, today I forgot to mention in the Jayadvani, today is, who is it? I think it's Bhakti Gauda Vaikanas Maharaj? No. It's Bhakti Śrīla Jai Nitya Pravishya Śrīmad Śrīla Bhakti Vichar Jajavar Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai Tadiya Shubha Thiruva Piti Ki Jai. So maybe if we get some time at the end of the reading, we can read about him. Oh, and Haribol Jai Shri Didi. So yeah, we get time at the end, so then we can read about Śrīla Bhakti Vichar Jajavar Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Maybe even read from my beloved masters. Okay, let's begin. All right. Let's find it. Where did we leave off this week? Well, let's first go over. Maybe if I just type in verse 2, we'll find it. Verse 2. Okay. Yeah. So now the second verse, rudantaṁ. Rudantaṁ means weeping, muhur, incessantly. Rudantaṁ muhur. So he's weeping incessantly. And his netra-yugmaṁ, his two eyes, his two netras, mṛjantaṁ, he's rubbing. Mṛjantaṁ means rubbing. So he's rubbing his netra-yugmaṁ with his yugmena, with both. Yugmena means with both. Sorry, the ena means with. So with both, with his two karāmbhoja, his two lotus kara hands. So that's all pretty clear, right? Rudantaṁ muhur netra-yugmaṁ mṛjantaṁ karāmbhoja-yugmena. Then sātaṅka-netram. And those eyes of his, which he's rubbing, is sātaṅka. Atanka means tear, right? Like in Hindi and Bengali, the way to say terrorist is atankavadi. So sātaṅka, his eyes are filled with terror. And muhuḥ, that same word again, muhuḥ, again and again, incessantly. He's śvāsa, he's taking big sighs like that, and which is causing the graiva, which is sthita, which is situated on his kaṇṭha, on his neck, which is anka, which is marked with three rekha, which is marked with three lines. That śvāsa, that's heaving, is making it kampa, is making that necklace kampa, tremble. So that Dāmodara is bhakti-baddham. That Dāmodara is baddham. He is bound by bhakti. So hopefully now all the words are clear here. Let's read the translation here. Seeing the stick in his mother's hand and fearful of being beaten, he is weeping incessantly and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus-like hands. His eyes are extremely restless and filled with fear. He takes heavy breaths again and again that cause the pearls and other ornaments around his neck, which is marked by 3 gracefully curving lines, to tremble. O Damodara, you have been bound by your mother's vātsalya-bhakti. I offer obeisances unto that Damodara. Is it śvāsa with a sh? Swas. I always thought the word was swas. I mean, like when you say breathing, swas. Is it shwas? It's just, could I just look that up just because I'm curious all of a sudden? uh, okay, 1 second. Let me just find this out. I just want to make sure it's not a typing mistake. Where is Dāmodarāṣṭakam? Should be somewhere in the beginning of the book. I don't need table of contents, let's just find it. Okay, netra-yugmaṁ should be probably before this. There's Dāmodarāṣṭakam. Let's see. And also there they write atyang tato, like 2 separate words. And in this book we have atyam tato, 1 word. Okay, so yes, it is śvāsa. Okay, that's not spelling mistake. Okay, sorry guys, you are always so patient with me. Okay, so yesterday we read the Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā of Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī Pad. Now let's begin the Dig-darśinī-vṛtti of Śrīla Gurudev. On this day, Shri Krishna, the personality who causes the 3 worlds to tremble merely by the movement of his eyebrows, that Krishna has become overwhelmed by fear of his mother. Seeing the tiny stick in her hand, he is trembling and stammers, "Mother, look, do not hit me. I did not break the pot of yogurt." There's a song in Sharanagati, Tava Bhaye Vayu Vai. Like the whole song is just going through all the different planets, the winds, everything is doing their duties in fear of Krishna. Even death personified is afraid of Krishna. But that very same Krishna, he is completely, genuinely filled with fear. It's not an act. He's like really terrified of his mother when he sees her with a stick in his hands, in her hands, sorry. So Mother Yashoda is slightly full-figured. As she was running, her braid came undone, and the flowers woven in her hair began falling out. It was as if the flowers were saying, "Mother, you are not alone. We are also with you." Those devotees who make their hearts spotless by endlessly drinking the nectar of devotion to Sri Krishna, imbued with extreme attachment and laced with renunciation of the material world, attain a state of meditating on Sri Krishna deep within their immaculate hearts, which are fully saturated with loving service. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Nārayaṇa sometimes appears in the meditations of Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, and the 4 Kumaras, the original sages. Still, even in their deepest meditation, they cannot capture him in the form of Vrajendranandan Sri Krishna. Yet, Mother Yashoda actually bound him, the complete embodiment of all nectarian humors of transcendental love. Unimaginably powerful warriors, despite their greatest valor, pose no threat to Krishna. But Mother Yashoda not only captured him, she brandished a small stick in her hand and threatened him. "Shall I beat you now?" As Kanaya rubbed his tear-filled eyes and tried to hide behind his mother, he cried out, "Mother, do not hit me!" He did not look directly at her. He only looked fearfully at the stick in her hand. "You monkey friend," she exclaimed, "chord, thief." To this, Shri Krishna replied, "Mother, there's no chord in my dynasty. There's only a Chor in your dynasty. And there's a footnote for Chor. It says, Chor Ghosh Gopal was the name of one of Yashoda's ancestors. Chor literally means thief. Oh, really? She retorted. If you did not steal the butter, then who is feeding the monkeys? Kanaya replied, he who made the monkeys was feeding them. Is that so? She said. Tell me frankly, who broke this pot? Look, mother, when you ran to save the milk, your large ankle bells hit the pot and it broke. Then how did you get butter all over your face? She asked. Mother, the monkeys were eating the butter, so I was trying to scare them away. As they were running, they smeared butter all over my mouth. Hearing this exchange, all the gopis began to laugh. I am not about to set you free so easily, Mother Yashoda said. I am going to tie you up. Mother Yashoda's mood was grave. If I don't chastise him, she thought, he will become quite a troublemaker. With this in mind, she decided to bind him. Although Sri Krishna started to cry, she did not let him go. She thought to herself, I will keep him tied up for a while, and when I have finished churning the yogurt, I will untie him and feed him butter and breast milk to calm him down. Mother Yashoda considered. Krishna is Kala. He is a cunning and mischievous thief. Kala means cunning. And his accomplice is Ulukala, this grinding mortar. Both deserve to be punished. I will tie them together in such a way that Krishna cannot untie himself from the mortar. So she's tying Kala and Ulukala together. The cunning Krishna and the mortar. Thinking thus, she proceeded to bind him. And now some more verses from another verse from the 9th chapter of the 10th canto, verse 15. Tadhama bhadyamanasya swarabhakasya kritagasa dvangulonam abhuttena sandadhe nyachagopika. When Mother Yashoda tried to bind her mischievous child, the rope was 2 fingers too short. So she tied it to another rope. Hari Bol Nadi Krishna Prabhu. She had removed the silk ribbon from her braid in order to bind Krishna with it. Other than the gold chain around his waist, Krishna was quite naked. That's how Srila Gurudeva always say. He said, quite naked. Although his tiny waist measured no more than 12 fingers, the ribbon could not be made to bind him. It was 2 fingers too short. Mother Yashoda asked her friend for another rope, but that was also too short. Time and again she gathered and added more rope, but it was always too short, and only 2 fingers too short. Not more, not less. In the Sanskrit here, it says, Dvi angulonam. So that means 2 fingers. In the Śrīmad Bhagavatam. So there is an esoteric meaning in this. 1 finger represents the sadhak's endeavors, and the other finger represents the Lord's mercy. So cheshta and kripa. The sadhak's cheshta, the sadhak's endeavors, and the Lord's kripa, the Lord's mercy. Sri Bhagavan becomes controlled by his devotee only when both of these elements are present together. The Ramanuja Sampradaya is divided in 2, according to whether they emphasize the Vedic scriptures or the Tamil scriptures. The former are known as Varakalai, and the latter as Tenkalai. They have distinct opinions regarding the means of ultimate attainment. The view of the Varakalai Ramanujas is based on grace arising from a cause. Their stance is compared to Markatanyai, the analogy of the baby monkey clinging to his mother for protection. When the mother monkey moves about with her baby, She makes no effort to hold him. Instead, the baby clings onto her as she leaps from tree to tree. And if he falls, his mother will never accept him again. Yeah, it must be so intense being a baby monkey. Like she's jumping from one building to the next and like running up the wall. And if you let go, if your hands loosen, if you fall off, you're dead. Right. So that's the so that's the that's the Varakalai, I guess, right? The Ramanujas from the Varakalai group. It's all about mercy. No, all about your own endeavor, your own cheshta. Conversely, the view of the Tenkalai Ramanujas is based on causeless grace. Their stance is compared to Marjara, the analogy of the cat carrying the kitten in her mouth. The mother cat picks her kitten up with her teeth and carries him about. The kitten does not make any effort and goes wherever she takes him. Thus, the followers of the Varakalai school strive for the grace of Bhagavan by their own efforts. Okay, so the first one, the followers of the Varakalai school, they strive for the grace of Bhagavan by their own efforts. And conversely, the followers of the Tenkalai school rely solely on faith in the causeless grace of Bhagavan, considering their own endeavors ineffective. The Gaudiya Vaishnava school asserts that both views are necessary. Both cheshta and kripa are necessary, both your endeavor and mercy. The following analogy is given to illustrate this stance. A person who has fallen into a well will cry, "Please help me, pull me out." But from above, someone may lower a rope into the well and say, "I am lowering down a rope. Catch hold of it, and I will pull you out." However, if the person in the well does not catch hold of the rope, he will not be freed. From his end, he must hold onto the rope, and from above, he must be pulled out. And so, Sri Guru, the Vaishnavas, they are constantly showering their Harikatha. They're giving us their merciful instructions, and they're giving us all the help we need to be able to get out. But if we don't follow those instructions, if we don't hold on to them, if we don't hold onto the rope of their mercy, if we're not trying to follow them, then what can they do? They've given us the rope. It's there. We just have to hold on to it. They can't make us hold on to it. We have to hold on to it ourselves. So both things are necessary. In this example, the person in the well cries out from help and later firmly catches hold of the rope. These endeavors are the means of his deliverance. In other words, they are his sadhan. From above, the person who is trying to pull him out is bestowing causeless mercy. For someone helplessly fallen in the well of material existence, Sri Bhagavan's causeless mercy descends, just like this rope. And by performing sadhan, one takes hold of that rope and achieves service to his lotus feet. Mother Yashoda did not give up in her attempt to bind Krishna. She kept trying. All the gopis began to clap their hands and say, "Oh, mother, the Creator has not written on this boy's forehead that he will be bound. So how can you tie him up?" Mother Yashoda felt ashamed. "This is so embarrassing," she thought. "I've not been able to bind the child that came from my own womb." Then taking shelter of Bhagavan Sri Narayan, she silently began to pray, "O Narayan, please help me. If I cannot bind this boy today, it will be so shameful for me. Protect my honor." Her face had become reddish like the rising sun, and drops of perspiration had begun to roll down her face like pearls. Śrīmad Bhagavatam, that same 9th chapter of the 10th canto, verse 18, describes this as follows. Samatusvinnagatraya visrasta kavarasraja drishtva parishramam Krishna kripayasit swabandhane. Shri Krishna saw that his mother's body had become drenched with perspiration. The garlands woven into her braid had fallen out, and she had become utterly exhausted. Seeing his mother's fatigue, little Krishna compassionately allowed himself to be bound. Sadhaks should perform sadhan bhajan with the same unwavering determination and hard endeavor. Then Shri Krishna's heart will melt, and he will be compelled to bestow his sublime devotional service upon them. Indeed, when Krishna saw his mother's firm resolve, his heart melted, and his topmost potency, his mercy, the totality of all his powers combined, then manifested as his bhakta vatsalyata, his affection for his devotees. At that very moment, his Aishwarya Shakti, his potency of supreme majesty, disappeared, and he allowed himself to be bound. Mother Yashoda made an intense endeavor with unflinching resolve. Following her example, sadhaks should try to melt Shri Krishna's heart, and by practicing devotional service that is imbued with characteristics like sincere loving emotions, bhav, great enthusiasm and anxiousness, utkantha, a deep sense of closeness and relationship, sambandha, a feeling of possessiveness, mamata, and intense affection for him, vritti. They should compel him to engage them in loving service to him. And that's why Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, I always quote this one. You probably heard me mention it a few times before, but I just really love this verse. Tomar sevai dukh hoy jata, sheo to parama sukh. In your service, all the trouble, all the difficulty, all the difficulty that I experience in your service, that is the supreme happiness. That is param sukh. Whenever we're put in a challenge in service to Krishna, and we're suffering, we're really going through it, but we're doing it for Krishna. That gives us a chance to put aside our own comforts and pleasure, and we're doing it just for him, for his pleasure. And that is the supreme happiness. That suffering actually becomes joy. That becomes because it's for Krishna and it's in relationship with him. And that melts the heart of Krishna. When Krishna sees that we're really going through it, we're really, then that melts his heart. And so then we have an opportunity to try to melt the heart of Krishna. So that's anytime we go through a difficulty, we should see, oh, this is an opportunity for me to prove myself, and try to melt the heart of Krishna. Let's just read this list again. Well, so Mother Yashoda made an intense endeavor with unflinching resolve. Following her example, sadhak should try to melt Shri Krishna's heart, and by practicing devotional service that is imbued with the characteristics like sincere loving emotions, bhav, great enthusiasm and anxiousness, utkantha, a deep sense of closeness and relationship, sambandha, and a feeling of possessiveness, mamata, an intense affection for him, vritti. They should compel him to engage them in loving service to him. Bhav, utkantha, sambandha, mamata, vritti. These, 5 things. Regarding the previously mentioned verse from Śrīmad Bhagavatam, beginning with swamatu, an important point must be considered. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains in his commentary on this verse. He said, Krishna's waist measures only 12 fingers, and the length of the rope continually increased. Why then could his mother still not bind him? Krishna was thinking, my important daily activities of stealing butter and playing with my friends will be stopped. So my mother should not tie me up. His very important activities. Immediately, his Aishwarya Shakti, which makes the impossible possible, manifested herself within him and proceeded to serve him. Consequently, although the size of his waist remains the same, and although the rope was made so long, his mother could not bind him. I love how the Aishwarya Shakti is also is like serving his sweetness, because, his important daily activities of playing with his friends and stealing butter. No. And so then his Aishwarya Shakti comes to serve that madhur, that madhurya. Yeah. So consequently, the size of his waist remains the same, and although the rope was made so long, his mother could not bind him. So now back to Srila Gurudev. Now he says, the Vraj gopis who are witnessing this pastime, along with Mother Yashoda, could not understand its mystery. Why was the rope 2 fingers too short? Shri Krishna could not be bound by ordinary rope, because all arrangements for his pastimes are made exclusively by his own intrinsic potency, Yoga Maya. Furthermore, there is no outside or inside of Shri Krishna, nor is there any begin or end of him. He exists eternally in his Swarup, both before the creation of the phenomenal universes and after their total destruction. In the interim, he pervades all the universes, residing within each of their atoms. Yet all the while, he remains Akila Rasamrita Murti, the embodiment of the nectar of all the rasas. In fact, Raso Vaisaha, he is nectar. Thus, Shri Krishna, being forever beyond the purview of mundane sense perception, is thoroughly inconceivable. Yet Mother Yashoda simply regards him as her son. Thinking of him in this way, she behaves with him in such a natural and seemingly ordinary way that her relationship with him may even appear to be like a relationship from this world. But because of that simple loving relationship, she was actually able to bind Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna can never be bound by someone who has not abandoned all separate interests for selfish enjoyment, which are in opposition with the tendency to please him. He will only become bound by someone who cultivates uttama bhakti, which is the inherent function of one's perfected constitutional identity, and which is uninhibited by fruit of acts, mystic yoga, and dry knowledge. Therefore, Sri Bhagavan's power of compassion and mercy, the topmost among all his potencies, only becomes manifest by the performance of such uttama bhakti. In its presence, his Aishwarya Shakti, the power by which he displays his supreme majesty, becomes powerless. When Shri Krishna manifests his mercy potency, he is controlled of his own accord. In their previous lives, Devaki and Vasudeva performed extremely severe pastimes. Sorry, did I say pastimes? I got distracted for a second. In the previous lives, Devaki and Vasudeva performed extremely severe penances, but even they could not bind Shri Krishna. And there's a footnote here. Even they could not bind Shri Krishna. Editor's footnote. Although Shri Krishna awarded them their desired benediction of becoming their son, he performed all of his sweet childhood pastimes in Vraj, away from their vision. When he returned to them in his later pastimes, his identity as a supreme lord was revealed, so they never got a chance to bind him. What then can be said of others who tried to bind him? If even Devaki and Vasudeva could not bind him, what could be said of others? He may willingly come under the control of a sadhak when he sees them eagerly perform loving service to him with great persistence. But he cannot be attracted by austerities alone. He is only attracted by sincere love. Before the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, bhakti was evident within the world, but not bhakti ras. Sri Rupa Gosvāmī fulfilled the inner desire of Śrīmad Mahaprabhu. Within the sacred texts he compiled, especially Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Sri Ujjvala Nilamani, he perfectly delineated the meaning of bhakti ras, describing all of its divisions and subdivisions in full detail. Śrīmad Mahaprabhu has propagated bhakti ras through his most confidential associates, Śrī Dāmodara, Śrī Rai Ramananda, Śrī Rupa Gosvāmī, Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī, Śrī Raghunath Das Gosvāmī, Śrīla Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, my own Śrīla Gurudev, Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and others. Mother Yashoda, Mother Yashoda wound the rope around Krishna's belly, tied him to the grinding mortar, and then went to churn the yogurt, her mind remaining on her son all the while. Just then, Dham, Sridham, Sudam, Madhumangal, and Krishna's other sakhas arrived. Mother Rohini also returned to Nanda Bhavan from the house of Upananda, along with her son Sri Baladev Prabhu, who then entered the group of sakhas. When Baladev saw that his little brother was tied up and that he was crying, he became furious. Tears mixed with black with the kajal, tears mixed with black cosmetic ointment. I'm having a really hard time reading today for some reason. I don't know why. But tears mixed with black cosmetic ointment were streaming from Krishna's eyes. On one side, where the ointment had totally washed away, it looked like the clear river Ganga. And on the other, where tears were dark from mixing with the ointment, it looked like the blackish Yamuna. Thus, the two rivers were cascading onto his chest. Enraged, Baladev Prabhu asked Kanaya and the sakhas, "Who bound him?" Baladev Prabhu thought, "Whoever has bound my Kanaya, I will punish this very day." Then Madhumangal whispered into Baladev's ear, "It was Mother Yashoda who bound Krishna." As soon as he heard Mother Yashoda's name, he became silent. After a few moments, he tried to open the knot. However, he was unable to tie Mother Yashoda's strong knot. This is because the love of devotees in Vatsalya Ras and parental love is superior to the love of devotees in Sakhya Ras and friendship. Incidentally, had Baladev Prabhu been situated in his form as Ananga Manjari, wherein he is devoted to Krishna in the highest ras, Madhur Ras, conjugal love, he could have untied the knot. But although the sakhas kept working together to untie Krishna, they were not successful. Shri Krishna gradually stopped crying. Even he was unable to set himself free. "Come on," the sakhas told him. "We will tip over the grinding mortar and drag it around the courtyard and play." At that moment, he remembered the incident that occurred long ago between the two sons of Kubera and his dear devotee. And he thought, now this is in the next chapter of the 10th canto, chapter 10, verse 25. Krishna thought, "Devarshir me priyatamo yadimo danadatmajo tatha sadayishyami yargitam tan mahatmana." So Krishna remembered, Devarshi Narad is my most dear devotee. Therefore, even though these two brothers, the sons of the most wealthy demigod Kubera, had no devotion for me, still I must fulfill Sri Narad's words by appearing directly before them and granting them devotional service to me. Isn't that such a beautiful example? We're helpless on our own, but if the devotee pleads on our behalf, then Krishna is bound to give his mercy to us. There's a song by Bhaktivedānta Thakur. What does it go? Kavishi Chaitanya More Kori Bena Doya. It's all on that topic. So Kuvera was the dear friend of Devarshi Narad, and his two sons were Nalakuvar and Manigriv. One day, while they were bathing in the Mandakini, the celestial Ganga, with heavenly damsels, their intoxication from being wealthy, beautifully figured, youthful, and of noble birth became further inflamed by drinking wine. At that time, Devarshi Narad passed by. When the ladies saw that he had come, they hurried out of the water, dressed themselves, and offered him obeisances. But Nalakuvar and Manigriv, blinded by ignorance, did not offer obeisances. In fact, they stood there naked and mused, "Where has this person come from?" Ignoring the great sage, they shamelessly proceeded to call for the heavenly damsels to return. "Hey, get back here!" When Sri Narad beheld the degraded behavior of Nalakuvar and Manigriv, he was overwhelmed with compassion for them. Outwardly, he feigned anger and shouted a curse. "Your behavior befits that of trees? So be it. Become trees." Upon hearing the curse uttered by Devarshi Narad, they were filled with fear. Falling at his feet and weeping, They begged for pardon. How can we be delivered? They asked. Śrī Narad replied, both of you will become twin Arjuna trees near the house of Nanda Mahārāja in Gokul. At the end of Dwapar Yuga, Swayam Bhagavan Shri Krishna will deliver you in the course of enacting his childhood pastimes. When Shri Krishna remembered his devotee's curse, he was overwhelmed with compassion for the two sons of Kuber. Just to deliver them, he drags the heavy grinding mortar between the extremely large Arjuna trees with all of his friends. And there's a footnote here. It says, from the editor's footnote, adjacent Arjuna trees ancient Arjuna trees grow extremely large. According to Narad's curse, Nala, Puvar, and Manigriv remained in the form of Arjuna trees for 100 celestial years, or about 15 million earth years. So the trees were fused at their base, but somehow Krishna passed between them. The grinding mortar, however, became lodged between the trees. As soon as Shri Krishna tugged at the grinding mortar with some force, the two trees were completely uprooted. At once they began falling over and finally struck the ground, producing a deafening crash. Then, from within the ancient trees, two divine personalities emerged. They circumambulated Shri Krishna and submitted prayers in glorification of him. After they begged to be forgiven for their offense, Shri Krishna explains, it is the unfailing result of seeing Shri Narad that even such rogues as the two of you are able to see me face to face, and the sum total of all the sins you have committed in your countless births has fled away from you. May you attain bhav bhakti for me. By Shri Krishna's causeless mercy, they resided in Goloka Vrindavan from that point onward. They became the famous reciters Madhukanta and Snigdhakanta. Thus, as Shri Krishna's special associates, they eternally narrate his unlimited pastimes in the assemblies of Shri Nanda Baba or the Gopis. That which cannot be obtained even after accumulating pious credit, sukriti, for millions of lifetimes, can be achieved very quickly by the causeless mercy of Shri Guru, Vaishnavas, and Shri Hari. The devotees who are expert in relishing the loving moods of the Vraj Gopis are the treasure house of lobhamoy bhakti. That's devotion to Shri Krishna that is full of intense longing. Or greed also, lobh, right? Among them, some exemplify one's own desired mood. So, So among these devotees who are expert at relishing the loving moods of the Vraj Gopis, among them, some exemplify one's own desired mood and are affectionate towards oneself. They're sajatiya snigdha. If one gets their association, then he should realize that they are the most dear friends of his soul. With his life and soul, he should serve them and endeavor to purchase their mood. How can such moods be attained? When a person hankers for the same relationship, the same sambandha that these great rasik devotees have with their Swamini, Shri Radha, and with their companions, and when he hankers to have the same deep possessiveness, that mamata, for her, and the same intense inclination to serve her, the seva vasana, then he can attain these moods. Only then can one truly serve such rasik personalities, and then one's life is successful. There is no other way. Nanda Baba came running after he heard the deafening crash made when the massive Arjuna trees fell. He saw Kanaya still tied up, standing between the fallen trees. Nanda Baba was shaken to see Krishna standing so close to the fallen trees and thought, today, Sri Narayan has given us so much protection. What would have happened if Kanaya had been underneath these trees when they fell? Mother Yashoda also came running. When she saw the horrible scene, she entered into shock. Aghast, she thought, alas, what has happened? Nanda Baba asked the children, "How did this happen?" In their broken language, the children explained, "Baba, as soon as Kanaya pulled the grinding mortar against the two trees, they fell over, and two very beautiful people came out. They looked like demigods. They folded their hands and offered prayers to Kanaya. Then they circumambulated him and went north." But Nanda Baba was not convinced. He took Krishna on his lap. Krishna had been keeping silent till now, but as soon as he sat on his father's lap, he burst into tears and began to wail. When Nanda Baba and the cowherd boys saw Krishna crying, tears also started streaming from their own eyes. Nanda Baba pacified his darling son and untied the knot. The knot that bound Krishna was factually made of vatsalya ras, not rope. Consequently, only his associates in vatsalya ras or madhur ras, conjugal love, had the power to untie such a knot. Krishna's friends in Sakhya ras and his servants in dasya ras, are those situated in a passive or neutral relationship with him in shanta ras, could not have untied the knot tied by Mother Yashoda. Even within vatsalya ras, there is a gradation. The love of Mother Yashoda, who actually bound Krishna, is superior to the love of Nanda Baba, who released him. When Mother Yashoda saw what had happened to her Kanaya, she could not move. She simply stood there like a statue. She could not even cry. Nanda Baba made Kanaya a little peaceful and then gave him a sweet laddu from his cloth bag. "Kanaya," he asked, "tell me, who tied you up?" "Mother," Kanaya replied. Becoming silent, Nanda Baba then resolved to punish Mother Yashoda with the greatest punishment a loved one can give. For the entire remainder of the day, Nanda Baba did not speak a single word to her. In a grave mood, he took Krishna and Balaram in his arms, and he went to bathe in Brahmandagat. After everyone had bathed, he returned with them to the Goshala. Meanwhile, Mother Yashoda had become as dry and lifeless as a piece of dry wood. In the Goshala, Nanda Baba filled Krishna's and Balaram's bellies by giving them rock candy and squirting milk into their mouths directly from the cow's udders. When they came home, Mother Rohini served them the food that she had prepared, and Nanda Baba silently fed the children. After they had finished, he took some himself. Then they returned to the Goshala. In the evening, Upananda's wife came to Nanda Baba, along with Mother Rohini and the other older ladies of Braj. Mother Rohini told Balaram, "Go now and bring Krishna." That day, however, Krishna had given Balaram such a push that he fell quite far backward. Finally, Upananda's wife and Mother Rohini spoke to Kanaya. "Look, Kanaya," they said, "your mother is crying so much. Go to her." "No, I will not go," he answered. "Then come to me," Rohini said. But Kanaya answered strongly, "No, I won't go near you. When mother was tying me up, I called to you so loudly, but you did not come. I won't even go near you." "With whom will you eat?" asked Mother Rohini. "With father," he answered. "With whom will you play?" she asked. "With Bhaya, with Balaram." "But with whom will you sleep?" "With father." Rohini said, "Until now, you have always slept next to your mother, but today you will sleep by your father? Your mother is crying for you." Then Nanda Baba said, "Should I beat your mother?" Upon hearing these words, Kanaya stopped his father's raised hand and answered. Then Rohini said, "And if mother suddenly dies, then?" As soon as Krishna heard this, he burst into loud sobs and ran into Mother Rohini's lap. She brought him to Mother Yashoda, and when she placed him on Yashoda's lap, Yashoda began to weep loudly. Shri Krishna also cried. Nanda Baba's heart melted, and he began to cry. Rohini and all the other residents of Braj who were gathered there also began to cry. Weeping filled the entire atmosphere. Finally, the respected elders of Vraj pacified everyone. That night, when it was time for dinner, Nanda Baba told Kanaya, "Go and bring your mother to me." Shri Krishna immediately went and caught hold of his mother's veil, and although she hesitated to go, Krishna brought her to Nanda Baba. She served dinner to everyone, and they all took their meal with great joy. Thereafter, Mother Yashoda took Shri Krishna up in her arms and went to her bedroom. Thus ends the Dig-darśinī-vṛtti on the second verse. Jai. Okay, so that's our reading for today. And tomorrow we will begin reading verse 3. Oh, actually, no, tomorrow is Śrīla Narottam Das Thakur's disappearance day. So we will read something about Narottam Das Thakur. Wow, many festivals coming up. Actually, for the next few days. Tomorrow is Narottam Das Thakur's disappearance day. Then the day after that is Bahulashtami, the appearance day of Sri Radhakund, and also the disappearance day of Gadadhar Das. And then the day after that is Srila Bhakti Rakshak Srila Gosvāmī Mahārāja's appearance day. Shri Virachandra Prabhu, the son of Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day. And Shri Saki Charan Das Babaji Mahārāja's disappearance day. So we will read about these personalities. And so we will continue our reading of Dāmodarāṣṭakam on the 16th, so in 4 days from now. But we'll still sing, I'll still sing Dāmodarāṣṭakam at the beginning of each program, because that's our Kārtika Vrat. That will do it. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Srila Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Saparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gan Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Shri Yashoda Damodar Ki Jai, Shri Yashoda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Rohini Devi Ki Jai, Shri Nanda Baba Ki Jai, Shri Dao Bhaya Ki Jai, all Sarva Vrajavasi Gan Ki Jai, Sarva Vraja Devi Gan Ki Jai, Jai Shri Dāmodarāṣṭakam Ki Jai, Jai Shri Urja Vrat, Damodar Vrat Ki Jai, Urjeshwari Raseshwari Shri Vrishabhanu Nandini Shrimati Radha Thakurani Ki Jai, Shri, today's Nitya Lila Pavishtam Vishnupad, Ashtara Chata Shishmad, Srila Bhakti Vichar Jajavar Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai, Tadiya Shubha Tirubha Titi Ki Jai, all the associates of Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrind Ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, dear devotees, and Dandavat pranams, Sripad Bhaktivedānta Sajjan Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining. Dandavat pranams, Maharaj. and Nari Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Nitai Mukeshji, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, Champak Mataji, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, and all the devotees watching on YouTube and Facebook, like Vidyalala Sadidi, Raseshwari Mataji, I'm guessing Indira Mataji is there, Kārtika Prabhu, Pramila Didi, Jai Shri Didi, and everybody else. Also, all the devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Jai Dev Prabhu, Krishna Rose, and everybody else. Dandavat pranams. Thank you so much for joining, and see you all tomorrow to read about Śrīla Narottam Das Thakur and all these other personalities. 3 days of festivals. All right. Also today, for Śrīla Bhakti Vichar Jajavar Gosvāmī Mahārāja, if you wanted to, it'd be nice to read about him today. Anyhow, yeah, you can read about him on vcvani.com. That's Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Bharati Gosvāmī Mahārāja's website. Or if you have the book My Beloved Masters, you could also find his katha in that book, My Beloved Masters. That book is for free also. You can download the Kindle version for free even, or PDF for free on that website, vcvani.com. All right, thank you so much for joining. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before I end today's stream? Okay.